So when I think about the challenges that are really facing convergent television today, a lot of them are around measurement. We know that there's a lot of power in the different types of media channels and distribution channels and ways consumer can enjoy content, which is becoming, even more, which are increasing, ever increasing, especially in the era of COVID. But then the question becomes, if you look at a campaign that's running, across multiple different types of distribution, right? Linear, digital, addressable, in a truly convergent way, how can you measure that campaign more holistically? So what are we doing about it? Well, we're partnering a lot with new folks, in the measurement space. We've announced our partnership with VideoAmp and some of the activations we're doing there. We have a longstanding partnership with ComScore, as well as other folks who are bringing some large data sets that can really kind of connect viewership across this ecosystem in one place and give a more holistic view of that measurement. We're also very actively engaged with those folks to help understand, where is this going? How is the world of measurement evolving? And how can we continue to state our needs so that, as these things continue to roll out and as innovation continues to really take place in this space, it solves some of these core problems.
Travis, what about frequency management and frequency capping? It's a big challenge for the industry. What are you guys doing and what needs to be done?
So as I think about frequency management, especially in converging campaigns, again, this really starts with measurement. You have to understand how frequency is being impacted for an individual household or an individual consumer across all of the places they're consuming content in order to manage that in a holistic way. I think historically, folks have thought about frequency really in a silo, right? So from an ad server perspective, you can look at digital media and understand what is the frequency of a device or for the folks that have an identity framework inside of that ad server, whether that's an ad ID, whatever the marker is, what is the frequency of ad consumption happening there? From a linear perspective, it's happened, historically a lot on some of these panel bases. And as we've been seeing recently, evolving into more sophisticated, larger data sets that are based off of either ACR, set-top box, return path data, et cetera. But you're kind of getting to the same thing in a little bit of a silo. What is the frequency of a household or an individual consuming advertising for a campaign inside of that linear framework? And then addressable, a lot of that data is still held by the MVPD. So now we kind of have a third zone of frequency information. And the real question is, well, if we want to manage frequency for a campaign outside of these silos, how do we connect all that information together? I think that there's a lot of players that are working really hard on this question right now. We're seeing a lot of very promising development. Again, from some of the folks that we've partnered with, one of the core reasons we're partnering with them is to help solve this problem. It's not just the measurement partners, your VideoAmps, your ComScores of the world. OpenAP's XPM, their new cross-platform offering, we think has a really good chance or a really great approach to solving this problem. And that's why we're such big believers in it. And that's why we're including it as part of our current activation with Dentsu and with some other folks around these VideoAmp deals that we're doing, because we believe that these early XPM partners, ComScore, VideoAmp, iSpot, 605, et cetera, they have a lot of interesting approaches, and XPM as a common identity framework will allow them to join the data across silos and really solve this measurement problem. It all, I think, starts with identity, right? Because ultimately that's the glue between these different silos. And as we look at partners, OpenAP with their OpenID, I think BlockRap is doing a lot of interesting things in this space, but we're seeing people really focus on this issue right now and try to broach the subject and try to say, okay, we know that there's a lot of great data in the digital space. There's a lot of companies and great data in the linear space. And there's a lot of great data in the addressable space. How can we collect and join that in a way that, one, protects the value of that data for all of the individual constituents that own it, two, is fully privacy compliant, and three, lights up this measurement use case. Once you have that, and once you can measure this, not only accurately, but quickly, then you can really start to make operations anchored to what you're seeing from that perspective and drive frequency management across an entire campaign as opposed to pieces of a campaign.